and welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning, and we are so happy to welcome our friends from Lake Center Christian School. We've got Dr. Joe Beeson, Kim Beavers, and Sonia Bancroft all with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we should explain what role each one of you plays. So, Dr. Joe, let's start with you first.
Well, I have the privilege of being a superintendent there at Lake Center. Been there now for 5 years, and just a great experience.
I can't believe it's been 5 years already.
I know, time flies.
When you're having fun.
Exactly.
Isn't that the truth? Kim, how about you?
Hi, I'm Kim Beavers. I'm the marketing director and communications as well as public relations. I've been there for about 3 years now.
And I know doing those roles, you don't have anything to do.
I have nothing
I'm
to
sure
do.
you just
Twiddle
sit
my
around.
thumbs all day.
I know you're a busy gal. And Sonia, how about you?
My name's Sonia Bancroft. I've been with Lake Center for 6 years, and I'm currently the event coordinator for our advancement department.
Oh, so you two work together very
Yes,
well.
we do.
And often. I've got to ask, do any of you have the experience of also being a Lake Center parent? Do you have?
I am. My son graduated 2 years ago.
And how different is it doing what you do as far as fundraising and talking it up and having been the recipient of a Lake Center education at the same time?
Well, I think it's important because as a parent working there, you're involved so much more with the students and with the faculty and staff, and you get to know them on a real personal basis, and you know that your student is being well taken care of.
I've always thought it was one thing to talk about something and to talk it up and to promote it. It's a whole other experience once you've seen what it's done for your own children, isn't it?
It sure is. And Lake Center has been a real blessing to my son and to his spiritual growth. And so it's been a real blessing for him to be there.
How old is he again?
He's a sophomore at Malone University this year.
Oh, good job. All right. And so we're here to talk about all kinds of things, but there might be some folks who are new in town and they just need to know about the school, first of all. So let's start with you, Joe. What, from your perspective, what is it about Lake Center Christian that gives a student such a unique experience?
Well, one of the things that's so important to us is that we partner with families. We think that's an important part of our mission, recognizing that we're all in this together, whether it's the home and the church and the school, but we're all trying to accomplish the same thing in student lives, and that's to help them become lifelong learners and servants to Christ.
How do you do that? How do you make somebody love learning so much that they become a lifelong learner?
Well, it's interesting that one of the principles we've really begun to focus on is that Imago Dei, that each student is made in the image of God. And as such, then they all have different learning styles. We're finding out as they're doing more and more research of the brain and how people learn that there's different ways to present material so that students can accept it and process it and make it their own. And so we work hard at helping our teachers learn those techniques in the classroom, as well as then building that positive relationship with each student. So that learning's more than just facts, but it's a relationship with each faculty member as well.
Going to school itself is not usually the student's idea. Going to a Christian school is usually always either the parents' or the grandparents' idea. How do you get the buy-in from the kids themselves?
Well, it's interesting that students recognize, and one of the things I try to tell them when I'm dealing with them is we're going to have the kind of school that you want. If you want a school where your peers do things that are wrong or where you hear bad language all the time, that's the kind of school you're going to end up with. But if you want a school where you can feel safe and secure and where you don't have to listen to that stuff, well, then you challenge your peers to say, I came here because I wanted to learn something different.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you change and that they reach out to one another and encourage one another. And again, we see the friendships form among our students. Kids talk about going over to each other's house on the weekends and going to church together and going to youth group activities. So it just forms a bond so that when they come to school, it's more than just coming to school. It's coming to be a part of the community.
Academically, you just really knock it out of the park, don't you? Somebody want to talk about that part of it?
Okay, it's interesting that
you got voted on
yes,
again.
Yeah, exactly. we have a large percentage of our students that choose higher education. And last year, close to $3 million in scholarships were offered to our students. And so students
Let me
do
stop
well.
you there, because that's not $3 million being spread across a class of 400 students.
Correct.
How many graduated?
Last year, we graduated close to 40.
Wow.
And this year, it'll be
3
56.
My goodness.
And so it's exciting to see that our students are succeeding academically. However, again, we recognize that each student's an individual. We challenge our students to consider the trades. Of course, we're in an area where there's a lot of men that do different trades. We have a lot of plumbers, a lot of builders, electricians, things like that. And we encourage our students to look into that, to see if that's a possibility as well for their life. And so it's a variety of ways that students can excel.
I think you're talking about each one finding what they were designed to do, finding their calling on God's life. And how do you approach that?
Just trying to get them to understand, as we look at God's Word, each one is created uniquely in God's image. And so what are the gifts that you have? We recognize that for some, school is different, and they would rather be doing more hands-on activities. This year we have about 13 students going to Portage Lakes Career Center. We partner with them. So students come over and take a couple classes with us, of course, Bible, and then they'll go take their other opportunity at Portage Lakes. We have some in cosmetology, some in welding, some in electrical stuff.
That's awesome.
Some in graphic design.
That's wonderful. Is that kind of a new approach? Because that sounds new. Almost everything was college prep there for a long time.
Well, and again, it is, I guess, new, but we've had that partnership for a long time. But
Nice.
again, the emphasis seems to be even from every school to recognize how important it is that students are unique. Even in public school, they're recognizing that, not every student's going to be prepared for college. What can we do? And we recognize that right now we're not big enough to be a whole comprehensive high school to offer all those things on campus, so we're able to partner and try to make sure that students get what they need.
It's really refreshing to hear that the pendulum seems to be swinging back to really be student-centric and not just trying to get points by how many are accepted to college. You can't have a country of nothing but lawyers. You really do have to be able to make something.
Yes.
So this recognizes that.
Yes.
Be able to have something that they manufacturing and assembly and
Yes.
and things that people can actually have something that they can hold at the end of the day. That's important too, is it not?
It is important. We have one student that actually is a race car driver and works
Wow.
in the winter on his car. And so, we want to encourage that. If that's where your gifting is, follow it. And so that's important.
Well, and all of this is so that at one point they do get into their vocation and then God's calling and then be able to be givers.
That's right.
And some of our biggest givers are folks who, look at the farming community, look at, all kinds of folks from all kinds of walks of life.
Yes.
If they learn well how to be good stewards, they're going to be good givers and good stewards.
Yes. For a Christian, there's dignity in all worthwhile labor done well.
Oh, say that again. That was so good. Say that
For
one
a
more
Christian, there's dignity in all worthwhile labor done well.
time. That is, amen.
Well,
That's great.
I can't claim all of that. I'm sure I heard it somewhere in the past.
Well, I bet you said it better than the person who made it up, because that was so awesome. But you do a really good job of preparing students academically to go on to higher ed as well. So let's touch on that. How prepared? Do you hear back from alumni saying, I was so prepared for college when I got there?
Yes, we do. We have 27 different college credits that students can take while they're at Lake Center during their high school years, from Malone and from Cedarville. So we've partnered with those two colleges to provide college prep classes for them to earn credits with. And the alumni have always come back and said that they've been really prepared well for the different vocations that they're working on now in their general ed classes as well as their majors.
So they are able to take some college classes while they're still in high school.
Correct.
And they get those for free. Well, they get those for the cost of regular Lake Center tuition.
Correct.
No extra charge.
Correct.
That's kind of awesome, because then people are starting to be able to graduate that much earlier. arriving in college as a sophomore rather than taking all those those original freshman classes that
Yeah.
everybody has to do. So I'm very eager to hear from the mom here, Sonia. How is your child doing in as a sophomore at Malone?
He's doing very well. He enjoys being there. There were so many classes that he was prepared for, and he just is doing really well there.
And assimilating into that community and
This year, CJ has been a commuter, but he has joined right into the school, and he's also a soccer player, so he just fits right into Malone community and into all of their clubs and everything that goes on in the college life.
that's wonderful to hear. I had a couple of boys who went to private Christian school and then went over to Malone as well. And it was like Ohio State to them because they were coming from such a small school and then finding themselves on a campus where life is just very different. Seriously, it was like as if they had gone to Ohio State because, we think of how small Malone is. But that's still, compared to their experience of high school, quite different. So it's nice to hear he's finding his way and finding his path.
He is. He's doing real well. And considering, his graduating class had, I think there was between 50 and 55 in his class, but he has joined right into Malone, and it's been just done real well for him.
Where there's more than 50 in his class. That's right. So let's talk about, you mentioned soccer. Let's talk about the co-curricular and extracurricular activities that Lake Center offers. You guys are amazing. Really competitive with a lot of the public schools when you get out on the basketball court and so forth. Tell me about that.
It's interesting that to see our kids get out and compete, it's exciting to see it happen. We have volleyball for the girls in high school. We've got girls soccer. We've got boys soccer. We have all the JV things in basketball, boys and girls. Now we have Little Tigers, third and fourth graders, fifth and sixth graders. We recently finished an expansion at our school to add a cafeteria expansion and more gym space.
Oh.
And that is just packed in with kids using it from after school till 9 o'clock. And those same kids used to have to go off campus to do that. So just exciting to see our students do such great things. And a number of years ago, we had 4 men in a relay that ended up going down to the state competition.
Amazing.
And so we didn't even have a track. And, they were just practicing their relay just everywhere, and they would go over to Lake and practice. But a good thing that I'd like to mention is it looks like soon we're going to have raised enough funds to put in an 8-lane rubberized all-weather track there on our campus. So we're excited about that and working really hard. A number of people are starting to support that. So that's been really positive.
That's so exciting. And the arts as well. What do you have there?
Well, in the fine arts department, we have orchestra, choir, band, arts, of digital art, art 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's lots of variety for the students that have fine arts desires. We also offer plays and musicals for our high school and our junior high. In our elementary, we have a program called Tribe, which is a children's choir that performs a musical in the spring as well.
Oh,
and there's also 5th and 6th Drama Club, which is a new program that we just added this past year.
That's got to be so much fun.
It is.
When everybody participates. But to be able to do that with classes of like 50 students is kind of remarkable. Does everybody participate? So you've got your athletes being in the plays. Is that how you pull that off?
Yes, they do. We do have a wide variety of students that do a wide variety of things. They are very well-rounded.
Well, it's just exciting. All right, we are speaking with Kim and Sonia and Joe. They are all from Lake Center Christian School, and we're going to be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community. Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Joe Beeson, Kim Beavers, and Sonia Bancroft. They're from Lake Center Christian School. One of the best events around town is the Lake Center Christian Auction, and I am not kidding. You have figured this out down to a science, And who is the person who gets to talk? Sonia, do you get to tell me all about it?
Yes.
Pretend I've never been there and tell me all about your auction.
Well, our auction this year is a 2-day event, and so Friday night we will open at 6 o'clock for a soup and salad meal and some entertainment in our new Caffeinasium, which is finished
love that
and
name.
it is nice. This year we will also have a showcase of what we're going to have on Saturday. So then Saturday evening we will start at 3:30, and we will have a barbecue meal, and all of our items will be available for bidding that evening. And we will also have a kids' night out for kids from kindergarten to 6th grade.
And what is that?
We don't want to call it a kids auction, but it is a auction for children to learn how to auction and spend their bid bucks that they might earn. So
I love that so much. So will they have a number and they'll be
They can
holding up
bid,
their paddles
yes.
and everything? Get them started young. I love this idea. So tell us some of the enticing things that we'll be bidding on.
Well, this year we do have a John Deere lawnmower that's going to be there. We always have sporting events tickets, gift certificates that the Hartville Hardware and the Hartville Kitchen also sponsor us. So there are a lot of great gifts that way. We have a lot of baskets that our classes will put together, gardening baskets, movie baskets, a lot of fun things like that.
Something for every price range and
Yes.
every taste.
Yes.
And you know what I love is that you think of things for people to donate to the auction that costs no one anything, like Primo's parking space for the teachers, and and things like that they can bid on. I'm thinking that was brilliant because it costs no one anything, and you can raise thousands of dollars
Those
just
are
on that.
Those are always a popular item.
It's such a good idea. Then explain how you do the silent auction because it's brilliant.
Well, normally what we do on our silent auction is they're called mini tables. And so they're individual tables that we close throughout the night. This year we are doing a little bit of things different. We're going to have our silent auction as an online bidding.
Oh.
And so you can bid throughout the night on those tables, but you can do it online. And for people that might have trouble with that, we are going to have a bid assistant there that'll help you out. And so it'll be a fun night.
So while you're there at the school, at the auction, you can still be doing bidding on the silent items online while you're sitting there bidding on the live items at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, man. You are really
So-
going after professional auction goers, aren't you? This is really good.
Well, it will create some excitement and competition and a lot of fun for people.
What I've loved in the past, now tell me if you're doing this again, is how each of those silent tables then became a live auction at the end. Are you skipping that part of it this time?
This year we are. You're going to be bidding on them, but it'll just be through your phone or through some type of an avenue that way.
And you can be keeping track at the same time. It's almost like live because it's online.
Yes.
So you can keep track on if you're ahead or not by following along online on
Yes,
those items, rather
you
than
can.
having to do that hover method that everybody perfected there for a while. Right before
Yes.
they closed down a table.
Yes. So we're changing it this year a little bit.
Very smart. All right. So when is that?
It's going to be April the 3rd and April the 4th this year.
3rd and 4th, and you're starting at what time?
On Friday night, we're starting at 6 o'clock, and on Saturday, we're starting at 3:30.
And for the children's night out, when will that be?
The children's night will start at 5 o'clock. Our live auction will start at 5 o'clock, and that's when the children will go to their kids' night out.
And is that on April 4th?
April 4th,
So
Saturday.
Saturday is the live.
Yep, Saturday is the live event.
And is there some kind of app we need, or what? How do we participate in the online?
On online, we will be putting a lot of our items up probably around the 1st of March. So if you go to our website, www.lccs.com and /auction, you'll be able to find whatever you want. You can find our online auction. You'll be able to find tickets, sponsorships. Everything will be right there for you.
So people are allowed to begin bidding before April 3rd on the silent auction items?
Yes, they will be. We haven't determined that time yet, but they will be.
So keep going to lccs.com
/
auction.
Yes.
And be watching because you can get this all going. Hopefully, these will be at ridiculous prices by the time you get there.
We
on
hope
April
so.
3rd. That, you know, and that auction fever gets into everyone. You just need to win it at some point then. All right. Well, this just sounds like so much fun. And it's going to such a wonderful cause. Again, April 3rd and 4th, that's happening. You also have a golf outing coming up. Tell me about that.
Yes, we have a golf outing on June the 8th this year. It's a Monday, and it will be at Congress Lake Country Club. And so we're still opening it up for sponsorships and golfers. And so it's a lot of fun. Last year we had a lot of rain, but this year we're hoping for good weather.
What kinds of sponsorships are available?
Whole sponsorships, flag sponsorships, where you can just get your name out there. We do have sponsorships for meals and carts, things like that.
And do you have to have a foursome, or can you just come as a single player and get matched up, or do you really need to find some other folks come as four?
We do like them to come as four. It's a little easier. That way we don't have to try to find someone for you to golf with. So foursomes are great.
Wonderful. All right. And then how does a person get their foursome together and contact you and register?
That is also at www.lccs.com / outing.
Okay,
So they
say that
can,
one more time.
www.lccs.com / outing.
Golf outing. Boy, whoever does your website's got that all together, don't they? Who do we think? Is that you, Kim? Oh,
Kim.
Good job. Good job. Let's talk about enrollment. When you're talking about classes, graduating classes of 50 at a rural Christian school, that's a large class. How do you keep the enrollment up that high, and how does enrollment look? And is there any room for more students, or are you just signing up for a waiting list?
No, actually, this year we at our largest enrollment ever, 691 students.
Wow.
And so we continue to grow. Yes, there are waiting lists in some classes. However, we do still have lots of openings. I don't know about lots of openings, but openings in secondary, grades 7 to 12. Elementary, they need to get their applications in soon because we had an open house just this past week and had 57 families come to our open house,
Wow.
represented close to 80 students. So there's a lot of interest. And again, it's just important that they go to the website and fill out the application online so they can get things rolling.
How many years have you had a full K through 12? How long has that been?
2007 is when we started our 9th through 12th grade. We were
Okay.
K-8 for all the years before that.
Right. And for a while, didn't you add like one class at a time?
Right, we did that in 2007. We added 9th and 10th, 11th, and 12th.
And are you finding that families that start at Lake Center just want to finish at Lake Center, or are you finding that some of them say, okay, I've got a great foundation, I may give public school a whirl? What are you seeing? Any trends there?
Well, our retention rate is over 90%. So,
Wow.
you know, we lose very few parents from year to year. And again, we think that it's important that we're partnering with parents. We recognize the importance of customer service. We're working this together. We take your ideas. If we can benefit from them, we try to use those ideas. And of course, it's just an important part of who we are.
I think a lot of people are hearing this saying, well, this just sounds ideal. I would love it, but can I afford it? How do you work with families to be able to make it possible?
Well, it's interesting that we do offer tuition assistance. We offer variable tuition. In other words, there's discount for multi-students. And then we have a number of families who are either on an Ed Choice Expansion Scholarship, which is based upon income, or there are some families that have come from districts that are in trouble, and they've been able then to transfer using an Ed Choice Scholarship.
How about transportation? Do you have buses from the other schools? How do people get there?
Yes. Well, we have a number that drive their students, but again, we do have, I think it's 8 districts that bus to our school.
So they will.
So they will bus to our school from 8 different districts.
It's got to be so rewarding to see now that you've had, since 2007, children going all the way through. and you've probably gotten to know them very well from K through all the way through. How rewarding is that? I'm going to ask each one of you this, to be able to see the impact that that's had on not just the child's life and the student's life, but their family's life.
For me, relatively new, it's just been great to meet the families who have been there for a long time and their students have graduated, and even some alumni that have come back to teach for us. That is very exciting for me as a superintendent to see. This was one of the first students to graduate, and he or she went on to a Christian college, and now they've come back to minister to the kids. That is just very fulfilling for me as a superintendent to see that happening.
Absolutely. How about you, Kim?
Well, for me, I would have to say it was very interesting to see. We had 5 alumni families that came back for the open house, and they now have children that are able to come to their alma mater to go to school. So that is a great reward, that they love their experience and they want to have their children have that very same experience.
So you're in second generation.
We are. Well, actually, in some families, we're in the 5th generation
What?
of being a part of Lake Center Christian School.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that speaks volumes.
It does.
How about you, Sonia?
Well, for me, it is the friendships that you made with parents along the way, and those friendships don't go away. You always have that common connection of your children being in school together, and as parents working together to support the school and working together in all aspects of it.
It's good to see. Yeah, I love when a person's got the double vision of it, because you see from the inside and you're seeing it from the outside as well, the difference that it makes. Let's talk a little bit about, in the closing minutes, how important that faculty is, how they really do much more than just teach a subject. They teach your children. And there's extra accreditation involved when you're talking about Christian school that people might not be aware of. Talk about that.
Yeah, all of our teachers are, of course, licensed with the state of Ohio, but then they also receive a license or certificate through the Association of Christian Schools International, which requires a certain amount of biblical study, as well as a worldview paper that they write. And so really what we're seeing are faculty that are taking a worldview and looking at the world through the eyes of God's Word, and then trying to transfer that truth to their students. And so it is extra time and extra commitment that they make. And I love to see their spiritual growth. When we meet together on Thursdays to worship together, it's real worship. It's really uplifting the Lord Jesus Christ, and just to sense that we're all doing the same mission together to accomplish what God wants. It's a special community, and that's really one of the things that I think draws parents to Lake Center Christian School.
And enrollment taking place when?
Right now.
Contact you now. Don't dilly-dally.
Don't dilly-dally. Yeah, Jackie Gillen is our admissions director, and she's the contact on the website, and there's an application to be filled out, and just get the ball rolling, because it's important that you get that spot.
Dr. Joe Beeson, Sonia Bancroft, Kim Beavers, thank you for all you do in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.